Hey there guys, welcome to a new video here. It's Lad from the Tilton with a new video. It's been a while since I've made a video, so I thought I would make an update. As we've had some big updates, I'll be talking about the fixtures in a different video. This video we are talking about what we have been quite famous on this channel for talking about, new managers and the odds and different things about them. So basically, Pep Clotet has announced that he is going to be leaving Blues at this season, stepping down from his job, so he's resigning at the end of the season. This is news that wasn't really fully expected, but was kind of expected. Now, what I mean by that is the fact that fans were expecting him probably to go in some way by the end of the season. They were kind of expecting him not to be part of the club and to be somewhere else, possibly a coaching role, something different, and to be going after a manager. But different lines of him resigning quite early into this campaign now. The campaign isn't over, obviously. And obviously, with all of this, we've had some big news from it and the different odds for managers. Now, since I've actually wrote out my bit on who I think, why I think, and all those different kind of things, the odds have changed and we now have a different favourite, as that's just kind of how it's always worked. Whenever I've wrote out articles and things like that on these things, they change. So basically, I was going to do a bit of a speech and a bit of a talk about Pep himself. And basically, he has a 38% win ratio as a manager and a 31% at Blues. As you can see here, he was Malaga's manager, Oxford, and currently Blues' manager. A 31% win ratio at Blues and a 33% at Oxford has not really set him alight. But I suppose with the challenges he's had at Blues, with the minimum spending allowed, not really huge backing from the board, and different things like that, that's the kind of thing that comes out. So, we're going to go straight into the odds now, because now you've seen the 38% win total and 31 at Blues, you can put him up against others for the job. First, we're going to speak about this man here, Slavasia Djukanovic. Djukanovic, when I wrote this, was an 8-1 outsider for the job. He's still 8-1 on BetVictor and a 6-1 on Sky Bet. The reason that I put him in here, I wrote these before the odds came out first, basically, so there is reasons for why certain people have got in there. Alberto Escobar is his assistant manager from a couple of jobs ago and has been with a couple of his other clubs. He's currently Blues' assistant manager, and we haven't announced that Pep's going and the team is going with him. So at the current moment, I would guess he's possibly staying. Djukanovic is the manager of Al Gharafa in Qatar. He's had some good experiences at other clubs. He's had Fulham and Watford. I think he got promotion with Fulham and a straight relegation, I think. He has at Fulham, he had a 44% win ratio, and at Watford, he had a 58% win ratio and a total win percent ratio of 45 as a manager. So he has got a better statistics than Pep himself. He certainly looks more experienced than Pep in this division and has had the promotion. He is an 8-1 outsider. He would be one of my choices for manager. I rated him a 4 out of 5 for how much I want him, really. So the higher the number out of 5, the more that I would think they should be looking at them to try and get them as a manager. On to the second person I wrote about is Lee Bowyer, who I can currently not find. There he is, Lee Bowyer. an 8-1, and a 10-1. He was 10-1 with Sky Bet when I wrote this, so he has come in a little bit on Sky Bet, but it's probably because a lot of people are backing him. Now, he has massively grown into the role at Charlton, and as a manager, he is growing, and he is a younger manager. He's a British manager, which I quite like the idea of going back to that style, how Blues used to be. Hard man with Lee Bowyer, nutter, kind of thing. And that would be the kind of thing we would be looking at. And would be possibly one of the perfect fits for the club. He has a 43% win ratio at Charlton. And that is over 2 seasons. So he has got a better win ratio than Pep by quite a bit. He is a new and quite inexperienced manager, I would say, with only 2 years experience with a League One club and moving into the Championship in a relegation battle. We'll just look at their position now. So as we can see, Charlton are in 22nd in the table. They have got a bit of a relegation battle going on when the season continues. But he has definitely improved them as a club, and they would most likely be a club that would be bottom and going straight back down anyway without him. He is a fans man. A lot of Blues fans like him. He's passionate. He loved the club when he was here. When we sung for him when we were at Charlton's ground, he put his thumb up. He shouted us out in the Charlton post-match interview, said thank you, and approved of everything that was going on. Kind of felt like it was possibly going to happen at some point, but it's just more about when it happens rather than if. For my liking, I feel like he will be manager at some point. Whether it's this time or not, I do not know. Now, in the next position, we have Craig Gardner that I wrote about. Craig Gardner is third favourite for the job with 11-2 and 8-1 at the 2 betting companies. Craig Gardner is obviously a past player, a fans man, and he's just retired. So he's just retired from the role of being a player. He didn't really play within the last couple of years that much, but he has been a coach growing at the club. And recently, the article before Pep said he was leaving said that he wanted to continue as a coaching capacity at Birmingham City. Now, whether that means as a coach or as a head coach is to be said. He has 0 experience as a manager, but there isn't a lot that can be said here. As a manager, he hasn't had experience. As a player at the club, he knows us very well and how we run. But I think it's a bit iffy about his experience. I gave Craig Gardner a 2 out of 5 to become the next manager at Blues. I did forget to say, Lee Bowyer I gave a 5 out of 5, as he is the man that I would want in charge. But yeah, Craig Gardner, no experience as a manager yet, possibly a future manager at the club, but not sure if now is his time with no experience. Now on to the next person I wrote about, Chrissy Hughton. Chrissy Hughton is a past manager at the club and has many times been linked with coming back. He was at Blues in 2011 and showed our first European campaign in over 50 years, as it says here. 3-0 victory over Nacional, and pushing our way forward, and we would have gone through had we not have been cheated out of that position. We also got into the 5th round of an FA Cup. We finished 4th and got into the playoffs in that season. As you can see, he had a 41.9% win ratio at the club over his campaign of 62 matches. He has a total of a 40.6 win ratio. He's an ex-Blues manager that a lot have approved of, and a lot would say that they would want. He's had good experience since then at clubs such as Norwich and Brighton. Sadly, he didn't do too well at Norwich, but did quite well at Brighton as a underdog Premier League club, having 215 games and winning 88 of them. Winning more than he lost there, so he is a possible man for the job. I give him a 3.5 out of 5, as I'm not fully sure if he would come back in the situation that we're in, as he left because of the Carson situation, as many well know. On to the next guy that I wrote about. It is Neil Warnock. Now, Neil Warnock is a man that's been around for a long while. Neil Warnock is 10-1 and 12-1 at respective companies. He has a 40% win ratio after having all of these clubs. He's had some dodgy spells in his time and some better spells. So at Crystal Palace he didn't have a great run, but QPR he didn't have too bad of a run, but didn't stay there for very long. As you can see, there's some decent roles. It would be one last hurrah possibly as a manager. He's been linked with it before. He's linked with it again. Sitting in at 10-1 and 12-1. It's Neil Warnock. There's not a lot that I have to say here. I give it a 2 out of 5 because I don't think he's really the man for the job, as I would quite like a young up-and-coming manager. Now, next we go straight into Aitor Karanka. Aitor Karanka is 11-1 and 10-1 at respective companies. He's a man that has been linked with the job so many times, it is unbelievable. Every time someone gets sacked, Karanka is linked with the job at Blues. He's a man that I've wanted a couple of times, and wanted at the club definitely when he was doing quite well at Middlesbrough. A 46.8% win ratio. Not far off winning half of those games, really. He moved on to Nottingham Forest in the January of 2018 and got sacked just over a year later, winning just 30% of those matches. He's a man that has had experience at a championship club, and I think he did get a promotion also with Middlesbrough. But 43% win ratio, is that enough for fans to be turned over to the Karanka side? I don't know. But you're looking at 11-1 and 10-1. When I wrote this all down, he was 14-1. So he is coming in. So I gave him a 4 out of 5, as he is a man that I've wanted before and would not mind this time. Next we move on to a possible more outsider. I'm not actually sure what his odds are as of this morning. Okay, his odds are 12-1 as of this morning. It is Nigel Clough. Nigel Clough is a man who has had 3 different jobs since being a manager at Derby, Sheffield United and Burton Albion. He's a 36% win ratio at Sheffield United, doing extremely well, getting a 47% win ratio. He has managed those kinds of teams. He's had the experiences as a manager. As you can see, he got the promotions from League One for Burton there, and he has got quite a lot of experience there and has finished quite well in different things. He's more of an outsider for the job, but has been linked with it before as well. There you have Nigel Clough, 12-1. I've given a 3 out of 5. And the final manager I will be speaking about is Mark Robins. So Mark Robins is a manager currently. He is currently the manager at Cardiff City. Not Cardiff City, Coventry City. There. He has been Coventry's manager previously. Huddersfield, Scunthorpe's, Barnsley's and Rotherham's. A 39% win ratio is certainly nothing to be against. At Coventry, he has had a 51% and a 44%. So at a team such as Coventry and the experiences that they've had recently, he's had good outcomes. He's had a few dodgy spells in the middle between those two, but came back to bring it back. At this point, this is where Coventry are in the table, top of the league with a game in hand, with an extremely good form before the coronavirus outbreak. Could Mark Robins be the man you would want for the job? I've given him a 3.5 out of 5. He is a 12-1 outsider on both betting companies, respectively. So, if there's anyone else you would like me to talk about, feel free to put them in the comments down below. I will try and follow this as much as I can before it gets announced, and make a couple of videos on it for you guys so you can keep up to date with all of the respective news from Blues. So, obviously there are other people in there that I haven't done. You've got your Kevin Phillipses, ex-player, but there's not a lot. There's some of them that don't have managerial experience. If you would like me to do any of these, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be doing a video on the new fixtures announcements and other things soon as I can. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for staying with me throughout this whole outbreak and with other issues on here. We will be back as soon as we can be, and when the games are back on the 20th, we will be making videos. We will be making vlogs, even if they're from our house watching the game. We will not be missing the opportunities to get footage out to you guys. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye, Pep Clotet. It was nice to have you while we had you as our manager or head coach. You guys know. Keep right on, guys.